Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. If you couldn't tell from the description, today we are going to be talking about my AT&T internship experience thus far. So I've already made videos on weeks 1 through 3 and then another one on weeks 4 and 5, and so this video is just going to be continuing that. And I'm not going to try and say how long this video is going to go for, like how many weeks, because I've tried to do that twice before and been wrong twice. So we're just going to start at the next week, week 6, and we'll see how long it goes. And if you're one of those people who needs to know, read the title of the video, I'm sure you can figure it out there. But yeah, so we're just gonna get into it. Okay, so Monday through Thursday of this week were pretty boring, so it's probably gonna be short. We've gotten into the point of the internship where it's just like work on your projects, because you need to get them done, because now that this week's over, we only have 4 more weeks left, and so it's like a real grind to push to the finish. So next week I actually have my midpoint presentation, and so this week I've been prepping it and practicing it and like presenting it in front of our director to like make sure that I have all the components that he wants us to have in it for when we present to like the next higher up. And so it's been a lot of either working on that presentation or doing the actual work so that like I have something to present. And so besides just doing work, I had like one meeting on Monday with my intern-innovation project, and I've actually taken on a lot of the next component of our project for that, because I'm really enjoying making it and like designing stuff in Unity. I literally had no meetings on Tuesday except for one 15-minute meeting with our director Sherwin, where I just kind of talked about my status on the project so far. And then Wednesday, I had a speaker series with this woman named Andrea Sutton for our whole TDP program. On Wednesday, we had a speaker series with this woman named Andrea Sutton, who was talking to the TDP program, and she was so funny. Like, she really was just having a great time up there, cracking jokes, making the interviewer a little uncomfortable, because like she would ask her tough questions, and it was just, the whole thing was super funny. Probably the best speaker series we've been to so far. A lot of the interns who don't normally work in the main office have to come down to the main office for that speaker series. And so there were a bunch of people I don't see very often there, and so we all got lunch together. I think there were 7 of us. And so we went to this place called Chop House, which is like a burger place, and I got a falafel burger, which is super good. And then I just kind of spent an hour hanging out, talking outside with some interns, so that was like very fun, probably highlight of the day. Then Thursday, I had nothing going on. Thursday was just like grind nonstop. And that brings us to Friday, which is the actual fun part of the week. So AT&T has 2 offices in the Dallas area. One of them is the downtown Dallas office where I normally work, and then there's the Foundry, which is in Plano. And so the point of the Foundry is that they do more like startup type projects, innovation stuff. And so Plano's like 20 minutes from downtown Dallas, and so our TDP program was going to get a tour of the Foundry on Friday. And so I drove up to the Foundry with Laurette and Reagan, which are 2 people in my group, and then like everyone else came too, but like the people I carpooled with. And then we got a tour, and it was so cool. Like, the whole time I was there, I was like, wow, the Mechie people would literally love this. They showed us their like laser jet cutters and their water pressurizer cutters, their 3D printers, and all the cool projects they were doing that kind of combined technology and just like mechanical engineering design stuff to invent things for all these different companies. It kind of gave it a more AT&T a more startup feel than it has in the main office, because everyone was super casual, and it was just overall a really cool tour. I'm glad I went. And so then we spent the rest of the day working in the Plano office, which like obviously because we didn't want to have to drive all the way back to go to work. And so they had a pizza party there where all the TDPs just kind of got pizza and chilled and had lunch together. And then we had another speaker series with Kate Hopkins, and that was fun. She was really nice. She had a lot of cool insights to give us. Then I had a final intern innovation project meeting to end the day, and then I got to leave early that day because it was Friday. And so I went home. That was overall a very good day, very cool. Plano is definitely the highlight of the week. And that's a wrap for week 6. Alright, week 7. So this week was super wild, super long, and I honestly did not think it was ever going to end, but it did. So here we are. Monday morning was just a grind and just like doing as much as you could because you knew you didn't have a lot of time for the rest of the week. And then in the afternoon, Jennifer and Brian gave us a resume workshop where they looked at our resumes and then showed us theirs and kind of gave us a bunch of things to improve upon, which is super helpful, especially going into job applications. And then we had a 007 meeting to work on our intern innovation project, and we met all of the new hires for TDP. So AT&T's like full-time hires for their technology development program just started this Monday, which is part of the reason why everything got so crazy this week. And on Monday, we all got to meet them. There was like 50 of them, which is insane. There were so many people on the floor. So it's good. On Tuesday, we basically worked a half day because we were there for the morning and then had lunch. And at 1 o'clock, we went bowling. That's right, we got paid to go bowling. So we all got bused down to Bowl and Barrel, which is this bowling/bar place in Dallas. And they rented out the entire place for us. And we just bowled for 4 hours. And so that was really awesome because I got to just hang out with a lot of interns, talk to them. And I don't really talk to all the interns on the day-to-day, so I made a lot of better friends with people that I don't normally see a lot. Update, I bowled over 100. It was like a 113, 114 maybe, I don't remember exactly what it was. But it's my first time in my whole life I've ever bowled over 100, and I've never been so proud of myself. So every year, AT&T does one service project with their interns where they bring them and they do volunteer work for a day. And our volunteer project was actually painting bowls for the Soup Kitchen fundraiser, which was super, super fun. I really enjoy like painting flowers. So that was a good time, and that took up our entire morning on Wednesday. Thursday was definitely the busiest day of my entire week, and I'd say probably honestly my internship so far, because it wasn't like I just had one thing that took a long period of time. It was a bunch of different things, all back to back, that kind of made my day crazy. I had a presentation Thursday. And this presentation was supposed to be a really chill midpoint presentation where we kind of just go over our presentation with our AVP so that she can see what we're doing and she can make sure we're ready to give our final presentations at the end of this. And even though it was supposed to be chill and everyone was like, don't worry about it, it'll be fine, relax. Like, I was super, super, super nervous. I have really bad presentation anxiety and anxiety in general. And even though I do a good job presenting when I give it, at least I think, I get really nervous, like, working up to it. And so anyways, I was stressed for like 2 weeks leading up to this, and then I finally did it, and it was not that bad. 30 minutes after that, we had a lunch event. So apparently like once in a while, a quarter I think, is the vibe I got. They have a town hall with Mo, who's, I think I talked about him in a previous video actually, who's like the CMO of our organization, and he gives a town hall talk to everyone under him, and he caters lunch. And so then we had an hour off from work just sitting around with everyone from our department, eating sandwiches, talking, having a good time. After we ate our sandwiches, it then was time for the actual town hall talk. And so we listened to Mo give his speech for an hour. And parts of that were really, really interesting, especially when Mo himself was talking, because he had a lot to say that was just like cool about like facts and figures and kind of what the organization as a whole was working on. Once that was finally over, I was like, oh, I'll get to work on my project, right? Because I haven't worked on my project for like a long period of time since basically Monday because of all the intern events that we had going on before that. But no, we had a 30-minute break, and then we had another staff meeting with all of Natherin's team. It was the all-hands call. And so I had to go to that, sit through another hour of talking. I probably could have not been there and still known just as much. But I guess it was good overall, and it's always fun to experience a big staff meeting. Friday. AT&T had this program in the TDP department that called Lunch with Leadership, which is basically where anyone can sign up to have lunch with associate directors or some of the people on that list were even higher up. But I ended up signing up for lunch with Chelsea Rickle, who is an associate director in the FlexForce program. And so me and then another FlexForce full-time employee and then a TDP intern all went to lunch at Trompo Taco and we got to talk to Chelsea and kind of hang out with her and get to know her on a more personal level, which was super cool because she was actually a really nice person, and between her and the full-time FlexForce employee, I actually got a lot of good career advice, and it was fun, and now we're friends on LinkedIn, so. The very final thing we did this week, which actually took me up until my time to go home, was an executive briefing center tour. The executive briefing center is basically the floor where we take all of our clients that we want to sell AT&T products to. And so it's a fancy floor for all the fancy rich businessmen, and all of it is set up as basically a display room. It's the same floor we actually did Magic Leap on, and so you can see that demo in weeks 4 or 5, which will be linked below. But not all of the interns had gone up there because it was just our team of 4. And so this was like all of TDP interns got to go up and see that floor, and we also got to see more parts of it that I hadn't seen on the initial Magic Leap tour. And so we found out a lot about AT&T's new Discovery District / construction that they're doing. Because AT&T is making this really big push right now to become a technology company and not a phone company. And so in that transition, they're actually buying a lot of cool tech things. They're partnering with other tech companies to do cool stuff. And so it was kind of fun seeing like how they're trying to sell themselves. And then after that tour was over, it was finally the end of Friday and we got to go home. This week, even though I'm complaining that it was really long, was a really, really good week. I got to experience a lot, hang out with a lot of interns, and I made major progress on figuring out what I wanted to do with my project. And so that's definitely going to make my next few weeks a lot easier because I already have a good pathway forward. Guys, it's already week 8. We are done with 8 weeks of the internship. 2 more to go. This week went by pretty quickly actually, which is exciting. Part of that is because I took a half day on Friday since I had some extra days that I got to use up in the next couple weeks. So it's currently only 2:30 and I'm home, so that's a very nice feeling. I don't know guys, I feel like at this point it's getting a little repetitive to give the day-by-day breakdown, so I'm just going to try and do the highlights of the entire week altogether so that you guys know what I'm doing, but don't have to sit through like an 80-year video. As far as meetings go this week, I had one meeting on Monday with my entire TDP team, which because we all have like bosses in TDP, and so we met with all of them, full-time and intern, and kind of just chatted, talked about like the future of TDP. And then I had another meeting with my TDP boss on Friday that was a one-on-one to talk about specifics. I also had a meeting, my intern meetings one-on-one with Sherwin, my business partner boss, and then the general intern staff meeting that we have every single week. And that was pretty much it for meeting this week. It was a pretty light week for meetings, a lot more of just working on my own, which is nice. Some other stuff we have that is pretty abnormal is that on Tuesday, we had a meeting with just all the interns on my floor, the 6 of us, because we are getting to present at an open mic in a couple weeks for like our entire floor. And so we wanted to talk about what we were doing and figure out to make sure we're all on the same page. And we think we're going to film a video to play in the beginning of that so that we don't have to awkwardly stand up there and be like, "Hi, I'm Jocelyn." We can just like have a fun video play because we think it'll be more interesting. On Wednesday after work, there was a happy hour and for everyone in our SVP organization, which is basically like our whole floor. And so after work for like an hour, I went down to this place called NOLA, I think it was, with the other interns and Jennifer and like obviously people on our floor, and just socialized and talked and ate good food, which is free. It was fun to see the fact that the whole office was getting out and doing stuff together outside of work. I thought that was nice. Thursday was such a long day because it felt like Friday and then you knew it wasn't Friday and you were like, when is this week gonna be over? But Thursday afternoon there was an intern broadcast because it was National Intern Day. Then everyone was invited to the webcast on Thursday where they kind of just talked more about AT&T and really sold it to you, and also gave away fun prizes and stuff, and so that was fun to attend virtually because the 6 interns on our floor all watched that together in a room. So that was cool. The absolute best thing about this week is definitely Friday morning. So Friday morning we had a breakfast for all of the interns in business marketing who were under Mo Kadaba, who's the chief marketing officer. I mentioned him so many times, it's actually ridiculous, surprising, since I've only met him this once. So basically, Mo scheduled an intern breakfast for all of the interns underneath him, which is like 12 general interns and then the 4 of us TDPs. And so there were like 16 interns and then Mo, and then he got a bunch of his SVPs to also come to this breakfast. So there was Sarita, who we're under, so we knew her. And then Abby Engel, and Roman. Then we just kind of sat around and got breakfast tacos, which were really, really good, and got to talk to them. And I found that experience like really good, probably the best thing that's happened to me this internship so far, because after talking to Abby for a little bit, he majored in computer science and then made the transition into business marketing. And that's something I've been kind of like thinking about, and like kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life, because there are a lot of people around me that are trying to get their MBAs or like graduate degrees, and I don't know what I want to do with my life. And so he offered to talk to me at some like later date or whatever, like schedule a meeting to kind of sit with him and talk about his career path and why he decided to go into the more businessy field. And so I emailed him and his assistant today after the meeting, and so I'm really hoping that I get a chance to meet with him in the next couple weeks and talk about my future. And I guess that's a wrap for week 8, which means this video is officially over. If you've enjoyed it, and I'm assuming you did since you made it this far into a super long video, make sure you give it a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!